Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Friday. We made it to the end of the week. We got October 8th today. Stock market not doing a whole lot, kind of dancing around the unchanged level. A little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down. But what am I looking to do here at this point in the market? Right now, we've had the pullback. Okay, so the stocks pulled back, but this week they bounced back up, and they're back up around the 50-day moving average. The SPY is touching the 50-day moving average, and the QQQ is right up against the 50-day moving average. QQQ a little below, but it's right there also. Okay, so the 50-day moving average, it used to be, the support level, right? We used to bounce off it. We bounced off it like 8 or 9 times, and we made new highs, record highs. Okay, but right now that 50-day, it's kind of become the resistance. We're bumping up against it, and we're not getting through it. Now, do I think we're going to get through it? Well, really, I don't know. Maybe. But here's the thing. I want to give you a little bit of a secret. Okay, you can almost front run the trade by watching another trade. All right, so the HYG, this is junk bonds. Now, junk bonds have been going down, okay? And they've broken through their 50-day, and it doesn't look like it's going to get above the 50-day. The HYG is kind of a foreshadowing to what the stock market will do. It leads the stock market down. So it's come down, and I look for direction. So the next direction, I think, is the stock market is going to go back down and test the recent lows. Do I think we're going to get a crash right now? No, I do not think we're going to get the crash right now. Why? Well, because I do think they're going to get this spending bill through, this $3.5 trillion spending bill. And the market's going to love that. It's going to make the markets go up. It's going to make the price of everything go up. Food, gas, rent. It's going to make it all go up, but the markets will go up if they get that through Congress, right? So the HYG is what I look at to get the market direction of the next move. So the next move, I think, is going to be lower. Now, if we get above the 50-day moving average, obviously I'm wrong, and I would take my trade off at that point. But right now, I think the next move is going to be lower, and what I do to play this is I look for I buy put options. I buy put options on either the QQQ or the SPY. It's what I do. It's how I trade. It's how I make my trade. So I haven't put these on yet. I'll probably put them on at the end of the day or early Monday. We'll see. Maybe I'll do a little of both. Put a few on at the end of today. Put a few on Monday if the trade moves against me. But right now, I'm starting to look for a short position. All right, so we were down, and now we've come back up in the market. We got that bounce, right? But we didn't get to the record high, and I don't think we're going to get to a record high just yet. But what was all the good news that made the market go up? I want to talk about all this good news. Well, just yesterday, right, we had good news. Only 326,000 people lost their job. Okay, that was good news because they thought 345,000 people were going to lose their job. So that was good news, and the market bounced up about 326 points. So, about 1 point for every job that was lost. That was good news. The other good news that came out, right? Good news is that the debt ceiling's been postponed. We suspended it till December 3rd. Now, that was more good news, right? So we can spend any amount of money we want, right? That's good news. The markets like that, they make it go up. And now we had some other good news. Now, we heard about the insider trading at the Federal Reserve, but good news came out that there's going to be an investigation. You know who's going to investigate them? Themselves. They're going to investigate themselves for insider trading. You know what they're going to find? There was no problem. There was no problem. So that's good news. Market's going to go up. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm being a little facetious here, but I do feel very lucky to live in a country where we can continue to print unlimited money. I live in a country where we pay off our debt with debt. Okay, and that's great, right? I mean, I'm grateful for that because we get to live beyond our means. Now, you see, my mom, she always taught me, to live within your means. She said, don't use credit cards if you don't have cash to buy it. Don't spend the money, don't buy it. Okay, but our government, no, we live in a country where we can spend as much money as we want. It's unlimited, right? And it really doesn't hurt anything because we can keep printing the money. The modern monetary theory people tell you that this does no harm. This $3.5 trillion, it's really a good spending plan because it's not going to cost you a penny. Well, let's think about this. Okay, so now Biden, he came out, he said he's not going to tax anyone. That doesn't make over $400,000 a year. But there really is the invisible tax, as I like to call it, the invisible tax. And what is that? Well, that's the tax called inflation. When you go to the store to buy that gallon of milk, to buy that loaf of bread, to buy the, fish and meat, well, you're paying a tax. The tax, food prices went up 30% year over year. 30%. Now, hyperinflation definition is about 50% a year. But prices go up 30% year over year, that is a tax. That is a tax to you. It's a tax to me. And this is a tax that, it's invisible. Well, they say it's invisible. It's not really invisible because I pay it every time I go to the grocery store. I pay it every time I go to the gas pump. Now, let's talk about this a little bit. So, okay, now, the visible tax, the one where you fill out your tax return at the end and send it to the government. Well, let's say the government, they collect $3 trillion. They collect $3 trillion, but they spend $6 to $10 trillion. Now, how long can they do this for? Well, because we live in the greatest country in the world. We can do it apparently forever, right? That's what they tell you. That's what the modern monetary theory is. You can spend into oblivion. Now we got food prices up 30% year over year. Now, how many people think that inflation can go up 2% a month? Can it go up 2% a month? Well, yeah, I think it can. I think it's doing that right now, to tell you the truth. Well, okay, but could it go up 5% in a month? 5% a month? I think it can. Do you know that 5% in a month is hyperinflation? That's hyperinflation, and that countries don't come out of hyperinflation. They have to get rid of their currency because their currency goes to zero. It goes to zero. It gets wiped out. It's Zimbabwe. It's Venezuela. These are not places you want to live. Oh, yes, the stock market in those countries goes up, but it costs you $1 trillion just to get some food. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Do we want to go that way? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to continue to pay taxes? Do you want to continue to pay taxes? Or do we want the government just to say nobody has to pay taxes anymore and we can go with the invisible tax where they just print as much money as they want and spend? It really doesn't matter at this point because they're going to print the money anyways. They're going to try to tax you as much as they can, but they're going to get that invisible tax, which is where they print the money and all the prices go up. Now, this is not going to end well. Now, if anybody does think this is going to end well, please leave me a comment and tell me why you think this is going to end well. I'm telling you, it's not going to end well. It really is not going to end well. But now, will the market crash? Let's get back to the stock market again. Will the market crash? Now, a lot of people are calling for this big crash this month, October. October is historically a month where we've had a big crash. Now, back in, 1987 or whatever, I mean, it was the big crash. It was Black Monday happened. Now, maybe on Monday it'll be Black Monday again and we'll get that big crash. I don't think so. Not when they're going to inflate. Not when they're going to print trillions and trillions of dollars and just pump it into the economy because, the economy's doing terrible. But the stock market, that's where all this trillions of dollars ends up. It ends up in the stock market, ends up in the real estate market, and it keeps going up higher and higher. Now, they'll tell you the economy's doing great. It's doing so great that we got to print, $120 billion a month just to buy bonds, another $40 billion a month just to buy mortgage-backed securities to keep the housing market up. Look, The economy is not doing that well. And the economy is imploding. I mean, it's crashing. It's burning. It's not doing well, I'm telling you. So right here in the stock market, I'm looking to buy some puts again. Now, maybe the trade will work again. I'm hoping it's going to work again. The HYG tells me that the trade is going to continue to work. It's going to come down and retest that recent low. That's what I'm doing. You do your own research. Do what you think is best. Now, if you like this stuff, I can teach you how to trade with charts. Go to stockmarketgambler.com and get my free stock market secrets. I'm a chartologist. I look at charts to see this. I look at the HYG. I look at the QQQ charts, the SPY charts. I look at the charts of the VIX. These are my secrets. I'm giving them to you. You want to be able to do it yourself. Don't just take my word for it. I'm telling you, I'm putting the puts on. But don't just go out there and do it because I'm doing it. No. Look at the trade yourself. Do your own research. You make your decisions. Maybe you got an opposite opinion of me. Maybe you think we're going to hit the new record highs from here. A lot of people do. A lot of people think we're going higher and we're only off a record high by what? Maybe 3-4% right now. We could do that next week. We could go bounce. We could do that by the end of the day. It's a volatile market right now. But that's what I'm doing. I'm Tall Mike. You like it? Thumbs up. Punch the subscribe button so we can talk next week. Get out there and have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll talk again next week. Bye-bye now.